It's here. August. Preseason games are starting. We're getting tons of camp news. It is the absolute final stretch. If you're ready to draft some more best ball teams, give me a hell yeah. Oh, baby. We got this show together at the very last minute. I'll give it a few seconds to let some people trickle in. We are going to draft a Best Ball Mania team today. What's going on? Who hames? Who hams? Who ham mamas? I don't know. That's what we're going to go with. Anyways, we're going to draft a Best Ball Mania team today. I am trying to catch up on some of my drafts here. So today will be BBM. We'll do something different next week, most likely. Oh, actually, we'll talk about it at the end. I might not be here next week. What's going on, Self? So we're going to get into a BBM draft here in a second. I hope that you guys are having a great Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope you guys are able to handle this heat if you're going through it that we've been going through, because my God, it has been absolutely brutal in the Northeast. It's been the worst. I can't stand it. Give me winter all day. You want a hot take? Give me winter over the summer, 7 days a week. I'll take the cold over this heat. Thought I was going to die Friday night. Big shout out to Jesse Wilkins for getting me a thumbnail in 4 seconds today, by the way, because one thing I forgot to get done was a thumbnail, so he hooked me up. What's going on, Sam? We got Robert Griffin the Turd. It's, the YouTube names are always great. We love to see them. Love to see them. We will get into this draft in uno momento. What are you guys doing this past week to attack things a little bit differently? Are you feeling like you're able to get some new style of teams? Are you using this to your advantage to draft some teams that other people aren't? And I think that is what's important this time of year. And the best way to kind of think through these things as we go on with the season. I know that I work for Spike Week, and obviously I'm pitching the company, but one of the best things we do other than our tools, which if you don't have our tools, shame on you. If you're drafting at a high volume, they're a game changer. But the other thing that we offer that is completely free is the Tuesday Lab, where myself, usually Eric, B. Kurt, Hacker, the 4 of us from Spike Week, we jump in a Zoom call with people from Discord, and we just put the link in Discord and we jump in there and we all discuss. It's not any of us taking the lead on that. It's working through different draft strategies, why we think they could be better, how we can deviate a little bit from the field and get better, unique teams without getting absolutely insane sometimes. So I'll be honest, Mike, I've only read a little bit of what happened at SummerSlam. I have not had a chance to watch. This weekend has been insane for me. Like, this has been one of my craziest weekends of all time. Who Ames is saying that if he gets early picks, he's liking McBride, McLaurin around the 4-5 to set up Kyler or Jaden, liking the way those teams look over the Lamar Andrews teams. I think you can make both work. Like, I get that. I want to do that too. I want to do some McBride. I was looking back last year. God, who was it? I was looking back at the Mastiff team, the $1,000 entry. And it's just so funny how things change over year, which obviously they're going to. But the last 2 picks in that, I was thinking through a 2v2 last year of Kyron and McBride versus, God, who was it? It was the backup running back on the Cardinals and like another rando tight end. I luckily made the right choice on that one. I went with McBride and Kyron Williams. So I'll look back and I'll get those names maybe at some point and do it. But you know what? Without further ado, words. We know how Sundays go. You're not allowed to smear my name on a Sunday show when I'm stumbling through it. Let's get our screen shared. Let's go ahead and jump on this NFL tab. At least my microphone was in front of my face today. All right. That's something we don't always do. And let's jump into this Best Ball Mania, and we'll get all of our music going. Oh, we should probably click confirm, right? And we'll get everything going here in a second. Where is the screen that I like? I don't know if that's it. I feel we'll go with that for the moment. And if I need to change it, I shall. You don't need to see my display name. You know who I am. Probably, maybe you don't. We should have all of our exposures. We have the 101. All right, guys. Do we want to do something fun, different, unique? I think we could go unique. Do you guys want to see a 101 Bijan team? I don't know if I've done a 101 Bijan on stream. That's right, ATX, the king. Maybe we'll do the 101 Bijan. Just for fun. Just for some fun. And speaking of Jesse Wilkins, let's get into some music, shall we? Let's do Bijan 101. I'm at 27%. We can get more. I mean, we are fading Tyreek. We're fading Christian McCaffrey. Somehow managed to auto Christian McCaffrey in a draft. But we did that team very specific once we did that. I'm overweight on all the guys I want to be overweight on up here. I'm overweight CD, Jamar, Justin Jefferson still. Let's do the 101 Bijan team. Boom. Oh, and I actually have a coffee today because I finally got to sleep for more than 3 hours last night. So I woke up like 3 hours later than I normally do today. So we're still drinking the coffee. Who else is in this draft right now? Expose yourself. Jesse saying, what is sleep? Yeah, I mean, dude, it's been a hell of a weekend. Jesse and myself were in the hottest building on the planet Friday night until 3 a.m. I think the inside of the building was reading at 105 degrees, if I recall, right, Jesse? And I'm still recovering from that night. God, that's the hottest I've been in quite some time. We got Connor at the 102. Started with that CD. Yeah, so it's been a hell of a weekend. And I'll keep you guys posted in Discord. I might be in New York working next weekend. I'll probably know by Tuesday. So if I am, I don't think I can do the Sunday Sickos. I'll see if anyone at the channel can jump on and do one. I don't want to speak for anybody. But yeah, ooh, we got Drake London pulled up here to the 111. Interested to see how this team turns out. I like that. That's fun. That may be fun. And then we get the Puka Marvin Harrison combo back here. Everything else was kind of relatively normal. All right, Drake London, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I feel like that pairing is more common. So if it was me pulling up Drake London to the 101, it would be to mix him with a receiver that he normally doesn't go with, which would be like, just looking at the list real quick, like I would want to do him with like Olave, Waddle. If you're into Devontae Adams, which I'm not, maybe him. So that's kind of the way I would have looked at it. Maybe even Nico. I don't even think there's going to be a ton of Drake Nico teams. So like for me, if I'm going to pull a guy up, I'm going to do it very specific. Boofy's asking if I have any 3 RB builds in the first 5 rounds that you actually like, or is that not a thing you're doing at all? I am doing it, but I did it in a very specific manner. So I have a few of those teams where I did it Bijan, Achane, Kyron. I don't care about the coaches constantly hyping up Algier. Why, Dad? I'm gonna go. Okay, hold on. There's so many comments. I'm gonna finish this one bit from Boofy where he's asking about the 3 RB build. So I've been very specific about it, and I've done it with those 3 guys a few times. I think that Kyron and Achan are going to move up. I think you've seen that a little bit with Achan already. And B, I think that people that are building those teams generally, not everybody, but for the most part, still draft too many running backs. I think you never draft more than 5 at the very most when you do that. So I've been very specific about implementing those teams, but I have been doing them. So to answer that question, we'll knock out our next 2 picks. I will answer this question from Broadster in a second. And I'll explain kind of what I'm doing with Bijan for me. And I don't expect everyone to do this, but I have very specific ways I'm playing that. We see Achan go here. I would like to grab Devonta Smith, and let's grab Malik Neighbors as well here as our 2 wide receivers. Okay, so we're starting with Bijan, Devonta, Malik Neighbors. So let's get into this question. Broadster says, why pick Bijan at 1? Wouldn't it be better to get outside the box exposure to him at the 4-5? Pick 1 could go up to Hill Chase, or would the 2 picks in a row change that thinking? So here's why I am mixing Bijan at the 1-on-1 specifically. There's a lot to this question. There's a lot of moving parts in your question, but I have particularly before this draft, I have 27% exposure to Bijan. I don't expect others to do this. This is how I like to play tournaments, especially if I really have a lean on a guy. So if I want to be super overweight Bijan Robinson, right, who was usually the 107, I do pull him up to the 4-5, but I also pull him up to the 1-2-3 on occasion. I'm not doing it all the time. If you saw my exposures for CD, I'm at 14%. For Jamar, I was at like 14, Justin Jefferson, 16, like somewhere in that vicinity. I'm getting overweight on the guys I want. But in order to do that, you have to remove players from your player pool, which could be an absolute tragedy. Like you could lose because of it. But I want to be very overweight on specific guys. So right now, I'm not drafting CMC. I'm not drafting Tyreek Hill. And I will go down with the ship if I'm wrong on those. That's fine, right? Like, so like that's the way I'm playing it. I want to get, quote unquote, less right. If you want to smooth your exposures across the first round, I get that too. Different strokes, different folks. But I think that in order for me to do what I want to do with guys in this range, I was fine with removing Tyreek from my player pool and fine with removing CMC, who are awesome players, just absolutely great players. But that is how I wanted to play it. I wanted to be double the field on all those guys for the most part, and I wanted to be heavily exposed to Bijan Robinson this year. So my combinations of, not only will I have super overweight stance on Bijan, my Bijan teams are going to be relatively different from everybody else's because throughout the draft season, I've been moving him around. And again, not every time. This is sometimes a CD pick for me. Sometimes this is a Jamar Chase pick for me. Right now, it is a Bijan for this particular team. So I hope that explains why I've moved Bijan up to the 1-on-1. He's not just getting moved from the 7 to the 1 for me. He's getting moved from the 7 to the 6 to the 5 to the 4 to the 3 to the 2 to the 1. That might be a Timberland song. Nobody knows. And no, I don't care about the coaches constantly hyping up Algier. I know Algier is going to have some sort of role in this offense, right? It's going to be fine. But I just think that the explosion player, I think he is the better version of what we think Achan is going to be, right? Like Achan might have like a slight single game upside tick, but Bijan's going to do it more consistently, in my opinion. All right. So those are the things that I do. I'm also doing it in total points format for sure, but I do prefer that. I think it is better specifically for the playoff format, to be completely honest. So I think it is better to do it in playoff formats. The Hill decision is, we saw what his production did tail end of the season last year. He is getting older, and honestly, he is so good at one thing. Probably nobody better than him at it in the history of the NFL, just burning, right? Problem with that type of player, once that goes, like once you lose half a gear, he just becomes not. We were kind of wanted Jalen Hurts to fall to the 104 here. Saquon, the Saquon drafter grabs him. I thought we were going to get him here. I mean, that's fine. I'm not like super upset about it overall. We'll survive for sure. And if you look, my Mahomes exposure was based on just the stuff I liked with the Chiefs early in the season. Like I was grabbing a ton of Rice early, so I was grabbing Mahomes early to go with him, which I'm very glad we did, because the move up has been quite severe for him. Okay, I think I do have a lot of Terry McLaurin with Bijan. Just kind of playing through this, how I want to grab. If I want to double tap. Let's build it through Chiefs. Let's still do our Chiefs stack. Let's do Mahomes. And as you see, once I grab Mahomes, his pass catchers light up in yellow. I still think I want to grab some Rice, because if it comes out that he's not going to be under any legal issues, this words, can we say them? No, sometimes we cannot. Let's grab Rice, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think he's going to get suspended this particular year, and I think that it's going to cause him. I don't think he's going to go where he was during the big board or anything like that, but I still think you're going to start seeing him rise up more. We're seeing Mahomes rise up. Yeah, specific was the word I was trying to say. Couldn't get it through. You guys know what the Sunday show is. I wake up and I can't talk, and that's why I do the Sunday show for some reason. Shout out to Mary Lou's for some coffee. Maybe that'll help us continue to talk as we draft this team. But like stuff like that is stuff we are talking about. Like going back to the Bijan thing, we're having those discussions in the lab on Tuesdays, and I don't expect everyone to agree with that, and that's fine. I get how it feels. Like when you do stuff like that, you can't be so like steadfast that you're like, this is the only way to do it. I understand the risk, and a lot of this game is risk tolerance. I will never be it's just not who I am. I will never be the 8% across the board exposure guy. It's just not the way I like to play things like this. It's not the way I like to, I mean, if you do a DFS parallel, are you looking to attack DFS tournaments from a single slate through smoothed out exposure? No. The way to play that is usually to find where you want to take the stands, and you kind of smooth other players out. So like this is one slate. This is 150 bullets if you get to that. That you have at this tournament, and I'm going to play the slate where I want to take heavy stands on certain guys. It won't always be a first round guy either. This year, I just happen to really like Bijan. I do like to remove up to 2, sometimes 3 pieces from the first round so that I can be heavy on those other first round guys. And I try to do it in a very strategic way, the way I did it this year. CMC, absolutely awesome, but he's getting up there in age. I'm not doing it based off the injury stuff. It's just he is getting up there in age. I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers try to, you know, lower his carry volume like his snap count. Like I doubt they can, probably, but I'm gonna play it off of. Those are two of the older guys in the top of this range. Let's play it through the younger players, and I'll lose sometimes. Correct. His position in the second round big board was before Hollywood signing and Worthy drafted, but also before the suspension risk. So he's never going to get back up because of the changing factors in the roster, but he can still move up a little bit more. And I agree. I think he tops out at the 3-4 turn. I would think so as well. But we can still get some value on him right now and get some Mahomes, Rashee Rice teams. And then I don't have to draft him anymore because I'm at a heavy number right now. Self is saying that from May to September, less unique to be more unique. That's how I'm drafting this year. Less unique to be more unique. Interesting. Interesting way to put it. Yes, Sal brings up that more information as we get closer to kickoff allows for more fragile builds, which is true, but there are moving parts in that as well. More information to kick off. This is one of the things I was talking about in the lab on Tuesday. Also shrinks your player pool. So the closer we get to week 1, the more we know about teams, the less players there are to actually draft in these tournaments. Because, again, we have the knowledge portion of it. So it makes it a little bit harder on some builds as well. I'm not saying that one in specific. I'm just saying it's just part of it. And we are going to be back on the clock here in a second. Started with the Mahomes, Bijan, Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice team. Coming on the clock here in a second. I kind of wanted to roam there. I'm not like upset that we didn't get him. So Christian Watson is a guy that I've been trying to get up to be maybe a little overweight on. So we're going to grab Christian Watson here. Who do I have? Evan Ingram. Who was my third round pick? See, these are just some of the combos that you just get kind of weirded out about. Like I have Evan Ingram 29% with my Malik Neighbors exposure. Interesting. Let's grab Aaron Jones as a second running back here. We get that week 17 Minnesota Green Bay game. So do Mahomes, Bijan, Aaron Jones, Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson. I think that is fine. Dad said, I think people are okay with your Bijan strategy. They have trouble because it's done with a running back. I do the same with Justin Jefferson. My rankings are basically CD 101, Justin Jefferson 102. Yeah, I do think people are, and I think that's how we can be unique to the people. God, phrasing on this is going to be weird. We know who we think the smart drafters are, and we're part of that group, right? Problem is, sometimes we all share a brain in the way that we think things should be approached. And I think the way to approach stuff like this is I want to understand what I think the smart people are doing, how they're constructing their teams, what strategies they're using. And then I want to look at that and I want to say, okay, I know the majority of what I think the smart drafters are doing are going to do this, and the people that are just coming in to draft in August are going to do. How can I take what I think the smart drafters are going to do and give it a little variation myself in order to continue to draft smart teams through that lens, but be a little different on it? So one of the ways to do that is to grab Bijan at the 101 or wherever. You could do this with Breece Hall. You could do it with, I think, basically just those two, obviously. And I think the other way to do it, we talked about this in the lab, is if you want to do it at the back end of the first round, you can pull Devon Achane up to this range and completely flip the board with Achane. We've already talked about this tier being flat as it is. And you can get some different builds with Achane through this range here, which I've done a few times. So, but you can also do it with wide receivers. Like you said, I'll do it with Jefferson. I do it with Chase. Chase is my guy there. Tomato, tomato at that point. If you have a preference on one, I've moved Chase up to the 102, the 101. I'm fine with that. So that's just some of the stuff that I do. And I think that I don't think doing it with Jefferson is wrong. He's just not the player that I particularly want to do it with. So I think just understanding what you're trying to do. What's going on, Versaire? Jesse tries to go from less of an alcoholic to more of an alcoholic the closer I get to week 1. That's fair. That's fair. Especially when you start hitting that DraftKings app. Gotta have a shot before you place a bet is what, I always say. Before you sign off the deed to your house to DraftKings. Because you bet on Aaron Jones over props and he pulls his hamstring 2 yards short of it. Or something like that. I just jinxed Aaron Jones. This team is dead now. Thanks to me not being able to keep my mouth closed. Here we are. Romeo Dobbs in the 8th round. Which is probably standard. We're going to be on the clock here in a second. Ooh. So let's go ahead and get CJ Cat to draft a player. CJ Cat grabs Brock Bowers. So the way I want to play this right now is I just noticed that although I like Jordan Love and I like Patrick Mahomes, I'm overweight on both to a pretty decent degree. I've never drafted them together in this tournament. So I would like to play it that way. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think the other way to do this is I've been, as you can see, hammering Chase Brown throughout this draft. We're at 29% now. He is rocketing up the boards. And as much as I like some of these other guys, let's go ahead. Let's grab Chase Brown. Is the way we're going to play it at the moment. And we have a Mahomes, Jordan Love team with Bijan, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown at running back, Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson at wideout. So we're pushing that 5th wide receiver a little more than we normally do. Yeah, Blake, and that's the other thing. If we are going to talk about it, I don't think it's a big enough portion of the market to be worried about it. But I have seen that the guy that people like to do this with is Jefferson. And again, I have no problem with that, but he does seem to be one of the guys that people are moving up and down the board. But clearly not enough if his ADP is not shifting. So I don't think it's a problem because I don't think enough people are doing it. So I think you're fine doing it with him. So I think you're more than fine. Just because we see it with more people, I don't think it's tangible. Garrett Wilson is a ballsy player to pull up, but I like it. Last year, I was more comfortable taking some of the guys in the Garrett Wilson range and pulling them up. I'm not as comfortable doing it this year. I do have a dividing line, and that could be actually a flaw for me. Yeah, I think Brees is fine to do it with as well. I'm going pretty heavy on Bijan. I might mix in and start doing it with some more Brees Hall teams just because I'm probably going to be between 28 and 29% Bijan after this draft, which I am more than fine with. but I think I might try to do that with Breece Hall to pull his exposure up a little bit. I'm not at a number that I like with Breece Hall right now. If there was one guy in the first round that I don't like my exposure number to, it's him. And I understand, but sometimes you just have to understand why. And I understand why. So it's, can I do something to change that is what I'm looking at. So we'll see if we can do something to change that going forward. And if I can't, I'm okay with it. You know, live and die by the hay bale. We'll just make up some sayings. How many BBMs deep are you? Not as many as I'd like to be. I'm only at 63 at the moment. I don't know if I'll get to 150 this year. Work travel has really sort of mitigated some of my drafting time. I just have this giant project at work that's supposed to be done by September 1st, and without boring you, that's kind of carved into some of my time. If I had known that, I would have been firing a bit more in June than I had been. So I'll still get over 100 without any issue, and I'm still striving for that number, but it doesn't mean I'll get there. But it's going to mean that I'm going to have to probably take a pass at some other tournaments that I would want to do. Am I doing 2 drafts today? I'm not, unfortunately. Today has to be 1 draft. We are coming up on the clock here in a second. Sort of looking through what we've got to work with on the board. And I think there's a no-brainer pick in here that we're going to get. We're going to grab Freiermuth as a tight end for our Kansas City bring back. And also because we don't have a tight end. Trying to make sure that I don't get crazy numbers on Freiermuth. I want to be overweight, but I don't want to be in like the 30% range. So someone I need to sort of take my foot off the gas a little bit. And we're going to grab Freiermuth. And I think... God, I feel like the only time I grab Zeke is on stream. I think this can be... yeah. This might actually just be a good spot to get Jerome Ford. Is that what I want to do? Yeah. Let's grab Jerome Ford. Close your eyes. I don't have much. I probably should just keep him as a fade. That's fine. We'll grab Jerome Ford. I think he can be a fine 4th. A fine 4th. I grab a ton of Josh Downs. He's who I wanted to grab there. I know he's not going to come back, so I'll say it. I also like Poke. I maybe should have got a receiver there as opposed to Jerome Ford. I was trying to make sure that I'd be comfortable only grabbing 4 running backs if I wanted to. Was kind of the way I was going with it. And I don't think that Jerome Ford was the right pick for that. So, not my favorite pick that I've ever made, this Ford pick. But that's why I only have 2% of them in this tournament. Probably should just keep the fade going. Yeah, I've been grabbing some Ray Davis as well. I know that the camp reports are back and forth on him. But I've been grabbing some of him as I have a decent bag on him. How much larger I am now. I think I had that set up for drafters last time. Oh, ST. You want me to reveal information that I haven't revealed to anybody? I have a full fade on Mostert this year. I have a full fade on Raheem Mostert this year. I know people like him. I understand it. He's just a guy that I'm not going to draft this year. We're talking age. We're talking... I really like Achane. I understand why he's still getting picked where he's getting. But I think he's like one of the easiest fades on the board, personally. Just trying to mumble it so that you guys don't send me the fantasy receipts in 9 weeks. I also do grab some Jalen Wright as Sal's bring it up. Look, I think if I was going to take Mostert, the format that I'd be more comfortable taking Mostert in would be the Eliminator, right? I think he's better suited for that tournament, and I think he might even be better suited for like a cumulative scoring tournament. Personally, I don't think I'm taking him in the cumulative scoring, but like I'd rather take him in drafters than I would on this one. Survivor Series. Oh, what is that? I haven't looked at that one yet. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the DK tournaments in a week or so. Is that the Pius? Is that the first 4 weeks one? Is that what they call it? Because that tournament's a lot of fun. Weekly winners, sure. But I am not the guy. I try to be as dead ass honest with you guys as possible. I am not the weekly winners guy to talk to. I personally don't care for that tournament, which isn't saying that it's a bad tournament. It's just not every tournament is for everybody, and weekly winners is not for me. Looking into that a little bit more, that is not a tournament for me. So I don't partake in weekly winners. Just some of the payout stuff, and it's good for people who want that weekly sweat. I totally get it. I get my weekly sweat other places in best ball, mainly the Eliminator. I just think it's way more for me. But I know like the payout thing and stuff, but you know, but I can see him better as a weekly winners pick. Okay, we are coming up on the clock. T-Bear grabs Jahan Dotson, someone I might have grabbed here. Like, I'm not heartbroken that we didn't get him. We're gonna grab Musgrave to pair with Jordan Love and be done at tight end. And goddamn, definitely think we made a misstep not grabbing Downs on that last turn pick. I think that was our biggest mistake of the draft so far. God, I don't love the Leggett pick. Let's grab Douglas here. We'll grab Pop Douglas for this team. We're just gonna have to really shoot for upside at wideout. So the team as constructed, Mahomes and Jordan Love at quarterback, which obviously we're done there. We've got Bijan, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, followed by Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson, Demario Douglas, Freiermuth, and Musgrave. Shout out Mr. Popinski, from Punch-Out fame, is saying this beat is hard. That is from Jesse Wilkins as well. Might as well just have him do the show. He did the thumb. I'm playing all of his music. But I know he is working currently at a radio station, fittingly. So there we go. But yes, Jesse is a great producer. Crushes these beats. Absolutely crushes it on our Hometown Ghost Story show for the beats. Just brings a level of something you don't hear other places. Having freshly produced music as opposed to having stock music, in my opinion, just elevates channels a little bit. And I understand it's not a thing that everyone can spend money on. But I was watching YouTube one day and a commercial came on And that commercial was using the same exact song as a show that I watch, as that they use as their opening. And it's just like, okay. But sometimes you have to, man. Like when you're trying to get these channels started, you have to cut costs as much as possible. It's great for us to have a guy that can produce music, is all I'm saying. Was it the heat check? Berserker saying I have a lot of late wide receiver targets. Tolbert, Yoshi, Calvin Austin. Yep, we can do a lot of those guys. For sure. You and me both, man. You and me both. I mean, we've been doing Hometown Ghost Stories for 3 years. We just sweat to death for 8 hours and a 105-degree thing for some content that we won't see any money for, right? So we're getting there, though. And to be fair, we do get paid for that stuff. We just have chosen to invest all the money we make back into the show at this point. Someday, South's looking to do a bulldog. Yeah, a 95-degree cold spot in that building. It was so hot. Oh my God, I can't get over it. My feet are still just absolutely destroyed from being in that building all night. Oh, baby, we are coming up on the clock here in a second. And I couldn't think of anybody better to draft on this particular team than, drumroll, CJ Cat pick, so that I can reveal this guy that I'm looking at. Let's go. You motherfucker. That's who I wanted. I wanted Jalen McMillan, but I also wanted Marvin Mims. Okay, so let's figure this out. God damn it, CJ Cat. All right, so we're going to grab Marvin Mims. We're going to queue him up. We're going to do a little bit of a cry because we're upset that we have to draft Marvin Mims and then figure out in this next 30 seconds who else to draft. God, I just don't think I have it in my heart to pull DJ Chark up this much, but perhaps we have to. I don't want any more Quentin Johnston. You know what? I'm going to grab Khalil Herbert, and I think I'm going to shut running back down. I think I can get by with these 5 running backs. I think we can do Bijan, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, and Khalil Herbert. I think that is going to be the play for that. I don't want to hear about it in the chat. You guys relax. Calm down over there, is what I'm going to say. So we'll grab Herbert there. Someone that I've been targeting all season for multiple reasons. Whether he's a Chicago Bear, whether he's not a Chicago Bear, I think he is a fine pick. I was talking about the show. There is not going to be a second draft. I do have to get some content together for Tuesday. I got to finish writing. These are all things you guys really want to hear, is how I have to write the rest of my script, record some audio, start some video production. Pius is saying that Herbert is one of his heaviest positions. Totally understand that. Get it? But that's one of the ones where I'm heavy on Herbert as well. He's not one of my heaviest positions. I do like DeAndre Swift, so I almost want some form of a Bears back on most of my teams. And I'm fine with that being Swift, Herbert, or Roshan Johnson, to be honest. So that's where we're at with that. Where were some of the teams we were looking at to start? Holy running backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight. Yeah, look at that. I like that. No badge or anything. Just rips wide receiver. Puka, Marvin, Tank, Zay, Godwin, Hollywood. Then just does this rip of running backs with Connor, Najee, Pollard, Singletary, Eckler. Grabs Komet, Stafford, Henry. I don't mind that at all. That seems fun. Stafford with Puka. Mayfield, Jonnu. Not a bad build. Mayfield to go with Chris Godwin. Sure. Shaw. For our Red Dead fans. That's fun. What was the other one that we were looking at earlier? The Drake London, Jahmyr Gibbs goes Laporta, Josh Allen. Bully tight ends it with Dalton Kincaid, grabs Mixon. So he has that going on. Then goes JMO, Curtis Samuel, Khalif Raymond, Rashid Shaheed gets the Detroit stack with Goff. Grabs Zeke, Ray Davis, Adam Thielen, Kendre Miller, Javon Baker. I don't know if I'm grabbing Kendre in the 15th anymore. I think I had enough. I didn't go crazy with Kendre this year. Yeah. ATX likes the shotgun blast in the song. That is a statue for all the people that snipe me in every one of these drafts. That is what that shotgun blast is for. Because when you think of sniping, you think of a shotgun. That is what most people do their sniping with. Yoshi Voss is pulled up to the 16th round here. We do see Chark go, someone we were looking at. I do want Luke McCaffrey as one of my picks here. And we'll grab Luke McCaffrey. I already grabbed Mims. I have enough Franklin, especially with some of the camp news. We're fine with what we have with Denver. Let's grab Luke. And let's grab Greg Dortch. Shaw. I think I'm fine with grabbing Dortch on this particular team. Look at Uvers here. Just Miles is yelling. Miles is telling me to get in before the field rush. Buddy, we have a solid 18% Justin Fields. We were in ahead of the Justin Fields bags by weeks. But I still will draft him. Not on this team. I don't need him on this team. But I will still grab Justin Fields. That is a promise. So maybe I should have had more. But not only do I have 18%, I have a lot with the team that I've built. And he goes at 17-8 anyways. Perhaps, Versier, we may do that. I have grabbed him once or twice lately. We'll see what comes back. But I think we are going to obviously grab a receiver to finish this team. Mr. Popinski says he built the 0 RB team last night with Javonte, Moss, Gus, Lloyd, Ray Davis, Roshan, and Labe. I think it's fine. I think that you have some guys that could get you through those first seasons as the other ones hit. I like Javonte a lot, so I'm a little biased. If Freiermuth is my first tight end, do I take 3? I mean, if I wanted to, I could. I don't want to with this team, though. I'm fine with taking just Freiermuth and Luke Musgrave on this team. I think if I had pushed Musgrave a little bit, maybe I would have gone 3, but I'm fine with going with Freiermuth and Musgrave. It's the least important position in the tournament to begin with. And for this team, I don't want to invest the capital, especially the way I push wide receiver. To me, having the 9th wide receiver makes way more sense than having the 3rd tight end. Yeah, I think a lot of people who Hames got, I don't want to say they got scared, but they got a little cold feet on continuing to draft Fields. But I do think a lot of people have plenty of, being overweight on Fields already. Like having 8% Fields is still a bigger position than most of the field on Justin Fields. Got to change his last name. It makes saying that, it's like the worst tongue twister ever. I just have to keep saying the same word. It's just like the worst rapper ever. Like he just keeps rhyming Fields with Fields. And we're going to be coming back up on the clock here in a second. Let's see what nonsense we can draft. Oh, baby. I mean, Calvin Austin would be fun. But I've gotten Bo Melton in other tournaments. I haven't gotten him in this one yet. So we're going to grab a Bo Melton team, baby. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at... Oh, hasn't loaded yet. Let's take a look at the team. And then we'll do something fun. We'll look. Do you guys want to look back at my first BBM, or do you want to look back at my first big board team? Is what we'll do to end the stream. So we went with Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love, Bijan Robinson, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, Khalil Herbert for a 5 RB room. Devonta Smith, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice to stack up with Patrick Mahomes, Christian Watson, Demario Douglas, Marvin Mims, Luke McCaffrey, Greg Dortch, Bo Melton, Pat Freiermuth, and Luke Musgrave. So we got a big Green Bay position here with an Aaron Jones bring back. Everyone wants to look back at the first big board. All right, we'll look back at the first big board. Let's find it. We got to go into pre-draft best ball. And let's go to big board. Oh, baby, I'm scared. All right, we did a Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams team. We have a lot of running backs on this team. Holy shit. We have DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Brooks, Blake Corum, Jaleel McLaughlin, Bucky Irving, Will Shipley, Tank Bigsby, Ezekiel Elliott at pick 217. 217 for Zeke. And we got Dylan Labe. I actually don't hate this running back room for having 9 RBs. We have a 2972 build, by the way. And for wide receivers, we have Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Deebo Samuel, Rome Odunze, Chris Godwin, Michael Wilson, and Wan'Dale Robinson. And tight end, we have Trey McBride and Kate Otten. Both of the same bye week, but we don't care. Obviously, we didn't know that then. So we got this Arizona stack, right? where we did Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, obviously a bunch of moving parts in that offense, but we still get that. Arizona, and we have the week 17 bring back for Blake Corum, right? Found a way to get the bring back without even knowing the schedule. Caleb Williams, we got stacked with DeAndre Swift and Roma Dunze, and we got this mega Chicago stack, right? I don't think we had a bring back for them, did we? No Seattle bring back, but that's fine. We're okay with it. We'll deal with it. This team's sick. This team is sick. I like it. I like this team. This is quite different. I mean, remember, there's 20 picks in this one too. That's why we have 9 RBs. But this team's a lot of fun. All right, let's look through a couple more. We'll go through the back end of these. We'll do like the first 3. So we like this. So let's rename this team just while we're here. We'll call it Shy Mega AZ LA. Let's just call it Bears Mega. And we'll just call it first draft so that we can just memorialize this first draft. All right, let's look at the second one. I already don't like it, but we'll see. We'll give it a chance here. So we got Tua, Drake May, Will Levis. So we got Miami, New England, Tennessee stuff we're looking for. We got Bijan, Devon Achane, Ramondre, Jonathan Brooks, Khalil Herbert, Audric Estime, Frank Gore. We drafted a Frank Gore team, just so everyone's aware that that's something we did. Granted, at pick 236, but we still did it. Didn't even know he went to Buffalo, to be completely honest. So we do have Tua with Devon Achane. We have a Drake May with Ramondre. Let's see if we got any more. So we do have Hopkins with Levis. Got Malik Washington to go with Tua. So we got some Miami stuff here. We got Pitts and Dallas Goedert. Okay, so let's just go over the team. Tua, Drake May, Will Levis. Then we got Bijan, Devon Achane, Ramondre, Jonathan Brooks, Khalil Herbert, Audric Estime, Frank Gore. Dude, I like this running back room a ton too. We got Jonathan Brooks, 20 picks past ADP at 140 at this point. Khalil Herbert, Audric Estime late. Wide receivers are Ayuk, Higgins, McLaurin, Hopkins, Troy Franklin, Xavier Leggett, Jalen Hyatt, Malik Washington. Feels a bit thin for sure. But tight ends, we went with Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert. Probably would like to go back and change that Frank Gore pick out with any wide receiver that we could. Is that Frank Gore Sr.? No, I think it's Frank Gore Jr. But they should probably put a junior or something on there. I like the first team better, to be honest. Do we have a Jacksonville player? So we don't have a bring back for the Tennessee stuff. Miami, I don't believe we have a bring back for either. I mean, again, remember, we drafted these without knowing anything in terms of schedules. New England, we did not end up getting a stack other than Ramondre. I think the one bring back is Frank Gore. So LOL there. Let's go through another one. Let's see the next one. All right. We got Jalen Hurts and Will Levis, who have the same bye week. We're fine with that. That doesn't bother me. We went Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Will Shipley, and RIP to Kenneth Gainwell, who will not be fantasy relevant this year. And we went Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, Christian Kirk, Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, Malachi Corley, Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore, Jamari Thrash team, hells yeah, Cole Kmet, Luke Musgrave, Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer picked 155 in this draft, by the way. That's where he was going on the big board before the Brock Bowers stuff. So Hurts, we got to stack up with both of the backup running backs, which is the way you always want to play Jalen Hurts. Had another Will Levis team stacked with Tony Pollard. And that looks like it's it for that stack. Not like the worst team we can see getting through, but I don't love it. Let's find a team we actually like. Let's go through a few more of these. Unless you guys are bored as hell. So this is a Mahomes and Purdy team. All right, you have my attention. We got Pollard, Corum, Jaleel McLaughlin, Kendra Miller, Roshan Johnson, Bucky Irving, Will Shipley, and RIP to Israel Abanikanda, who we have as well. And Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice at pick 24, back when he was going there. Debo to stack up. Rome, A.D. Mitchell, Troy Franklin, Zay Jones, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Mike Gesicki. So, not a bad team. We'll do one more real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. A Josh Allen, Daniel Jones team. Seems like this could be fun. So, a Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Bijan, Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren, Devin Singletary, Dylan Labe, RIP to Israel Abanikanda again, Isaiah Davis. Yeah, going to be tough for him to be on the field. Steph Diggs, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Jameson Williams, Troy Franklin, Brandon Cooks, Rashad Bateman, Michael Mayer, Kate Otten, Isaiah Likely. How dare you, Versa? Jawan Jennings is a saint. He's actually a 49er, but you know what I mean. It's fine. It's fine. All right, maybe we'll do this again next time we do a live draft. Not sure I'll be here next Sunday again. I will keep you guys posted in Discord if I can make the Sunday show next week. If not, I'll see if someone can replace me. It has been real. It's been fun. I always enjoy doing these every single week, but we're going to call it a night. Peace. Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.